And then the last change we have is to quick melee. So in an attempt to unify the game mechanics across most of the heroes, they've made it so that quick melee can no longer be used to interrupt abilities and vice versa. Now,
Recently, there have been 3 nerfs that bother me at a profound level. The first is Widow's Scope, the second is Genji's combo mobility, and the third is melee no longer being able to cancel out abilities and abilities no longer being able to cancel out melees. And where I'm not upset with any of these changes individually, and I'm not like complaining that my favorite character is nerfed, I am saddened by the underlying design philosophy behind these changes. So Overwatch is not your traditional first-person shooter. In fact, I would bet that your view of Overwatch is shaded by what you've played in the past, by your gaming background. If you come to Overwatch from a fighting game background, you can look at Genji's combo and think, how cool is it that I'm playing a cyborg ninja in an FPS environment who has combos? Or if you come from a MOBA background, maybe you understand the necessity of tanks and supports. Maybe you understand where you should position a Reinhardt so that you're not overextending, and when to charge and when not to. Maybe things like that seem intuitive to you. Or if you come from a StarCraft background, I bet you notice right away how these maps choke off, making tanks necessary and making your flankers' mobility options that much more essential. My point is, Overwatch isn't just an FPS. It's a whole lot of great mechanics jam-packed into one fantastic game. And where implementing a change like getting rid of your ability to cancel abilities with a melee and vice versa makes sense in a first-person shooter where everyone's kind of playing the same character, it has much bigger implications in Overwatch. It's a much bigger deal. First, just as a general rule, I gotta tell you, I like cancels. I like cancels in fighting games. I like cancels in every game that I've ever had a cancel in. Canceling lag and doing another ability, it feels fast, it feels snappy, and the removal of that upsets me at a fundamental level because it makes the game slower. It makes you're doing less actions per minute, and people like to push buttons. And to me, I think of cancels as kind of like spice, right? It's the spice that flavors the Overwatch stew. And where the removal of cancels doesn't make me hate the game or anything, it makes me feel like it tastes less good. It's like, imagine Genji is a can of Coca-Cola, and then remove his combo, and now he tastes like Coke Zero. Sure, you could drink it if you really wanted a soda, and it probably wouldn't be that bad, but wouldn't you rather have the Coke? The thing about these cancels, just in general, I consider Widow's Scope a cancel. You're canceling a scope action into a scope. Genji's combo is obviously a cancel. And then removing Melee's ability to cancel abilities and vice versa. They're all cancels. And you're removing them from the game, you're adding more lag to the game, you're making each character able to do less. My point is, any change that slows the game down, that makes a character feel worse than it did before, that makes it feel more sluggish, is just a bad change for the game. If you want to nerf Genji, or you want to nerf Widowmaker, then fine, do that. But don't do it like this. Don't do changes that make the game slower. People like fast games. I mean, part of the reason I like Overwatch so much is how fast it feels. And where I agree with you, I think Widow needed the nerf that you gave her, but not in the way you gave it to her. I think the 150 shot body damage maybe was too much, but taking out the speed, even if it wasn't intended, was a terrible idea. And take Genji's nerfs, for example. I think this might be a case of over-nerfing, like the Warsong Commander treatment in Hearthstone. The way I hear pros talk about Genji, it sounds like that he is picked on teams over characters like McCree and over characters like Soldier 76 because of his ult. So taking away 2 seconds of his ult, reducing something from 8 seconds to 6 is a huge deal already, and competitively, I bet he's going to see less play as a result. You don't need to go over the top and nerf his mobility. I mean, maybe players at lower ranks were complaining that hitting Genji is hard, but that's because of the double jump, not because of the triple, or at least 90% of the time. I mean, it's because Genji's just standing around double jumping, and he's still able to do that. So why get rid of the triple? Now he's just going to feel clunky to experienced Genji players. And as far as the regular cancels go, like just for all characters that you are now limiting and getting rid of, I've got to say, like, who's complaining about this? Why are you getting rid of it? People like this in the game. People like pushing buttons. It is physically satisfying to do so. Alright, that's the end of my rant, and that's the end of this vlog. So occasionally my vlogs will change from a vlog to a short film or like a video essay because, you know, there's only so many hours in one day, and when it comes down to it, I make the rules here. Also, this should go without saying, but I obviously want to know what you guys think. Tell me if you agree with me, if you disagree. Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you do agree with me, please share this video, pass it around, upvote it, whatever you guys can do. This is a real pet peeve of mine, and I really want to see something done about this, so let's make it large. Let's make it so that people see it.